Aussies quietly quitting. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at this article that a few people have sent to me asking, well, they want to hear my opinion of it. Why so many Australians are quiet quitting their demanding jobs. Okay. Aussies are fighting back against demanding jobs by quiet quitting, making sure it's the best thing they've done. Many say it's the best thing they've done, but experts warn it could backfire. So what actually is this quiet quitting? Is it like being a bludger and not working and depending on the other people in the office to keep the work going? I thought they were just people that have been doing that forever. Is this like the Wally character in Dilbert? Is this what people are turning into and celebrating it? Let's see. There's a new way to quit your job, and it means you don't have to hand in your notice. Instead, quiet quitting involves rejecting the idea that work has to take over your life. For many, this is a huge mindset shift and quite a revolutionary concept. It is one that many Aussies are getting on board with. Now, I guess it depends. For a lot of young men, work needs to be a particular large part of your life so you can, well, improve your sexual market value to attract a spouse, to be honest. You know, you need to have the good money, be able to provide, and, well, that's just how it is, guys. It's an unfair world. So we'll see. So, you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond. TikToker ZK Shillian explained in a popular video on the topic. We encountered this. We used to hire staff and we'd often give people their first ever job as a professional in the architectural field. And I remember there was one girl who, she pretty much had, I'd say was like this, would never put in any extra effort. Whenever we needed someone to put in extra time to meet a tight deadline or to take care of something, just wouldn't do it. Rachel pulled her aside and said, you know, Sam, who started with you, is going to get ahead because he will always step up and take on more responsibility than you. You've got to, step up. She was frustrated because it was the stereotype of the girls not working as hard. I guess that also has something to do with age and maturity, perhaps. You're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. The reality is it's not. Your worth as a person is not defined by your labor. Yeah, well, I mean, yes and no. You've got a plan. Now, I mean, if you want to hustle, I would not put all your eggs in one basket. I would make sure you've got a few side gigs and alternative ways to generate money. So you've got your options. That's kind of what you want. If you put all your energy and effort to your employer, it may not be rewarded. And, we've seen all the staff that were recently fired at Robinhood. I bet you there were some there that were doing the hustle culture, working their asses off, and no one cares. If you buy into the bullshit that it's, family, that you're family in an office, you're not. As much as in a small business, people may do everything they can to keep you, but, you're not family. In a small business, families probably treated worse than staff anyway. So that could mean ignoring work emails and calls outside of work hours and leaving the office on time. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I was working as a student or as a graduate at the Architectural Practice Academy, and I went through a period for a few years where I wouldn't have a mobile. I just didn't want to get the bills. I didn't want to have the money, the costs, so I just didn't have a mobile. I didn't have one. And they were saying, oh, you need a mobile. What if we want to call you on site? And I go, okay, you pay for it. If you want me to have a mobile, I don't want one. I now have one, but still. It could also mean declining projects that aren't part of your job description. I mean, here's the thing. That also removes opportunities. Every project should be an opportunity to learn and to increase your experience. Now, I'm seeing this as someone who works in the architectural practice. So a project would be a building, a new type of, say you've been hired to work on the education sector, and what if they've got another job in mining sector or something they need you to work on? You're not going to decline it because, I've only been hired to be in the education. If they need your help, you're going to step up. I mean, wouldn't you? If you say no, you're going to be the first fired. You know, you'll be the first that they see you're probably a pain in the ass and they'll cull. These are always, quiet quitters claim, are crucial steps to avoid burnout and regain some work-life balance. Yeah, that's true. I mean, leaving on time is the main one. And we did a poll on the channel. Let's bring that up. Bring that up here. Bear with me as I load it up. Here we go. What's your opinion on crunch or working extreme overtime to meet a project milestone? As an architect and a small business owner, it's just what is needed sometimes on projects. People seem to be outraged that it occurs, particularly in the gaming development industry. Now, the reason I asked this was a computer game that I've been following for years, Space Quest. The creators started a Kickstarter, and this thing's been dragging on for 10 years. It's just a complete failure. They've completely stuffed it up. Their project management has been atrocious. It is an example of terrible communication and bad planning. They can't even save or load the game properly, you know. And this is 10 years in development, so it's a complete stuff up. Now, they've said in their latest update, which they do like twice a year, they're going to do some 18-hour crunch sessions to get it done. Now, I've done that before. You have to meet deadlines. You've got to work hard, put in the extra hours. I've done it as a small business owner as well. I still do it now. If I have to, I'll just work, do hard hours and just push through. But I've got a lot more flexibility than I have in my younger years. It's easy for me to do because I've got the kids all around me, and it doesn't really, my life is a bit different. I probably wouldn't be doing the same working for someone else at my age. I'd want to be paid for it because I know if I'm going to put those hours in, the extra hours, I can do it for myself, really. But younger in your career, sometimes you've just got to do it for the project, and you need to be rewarded for it. There shouldn't be an expectation that it happens all the time. We used to pay people, either we'd pay them money or we'd do time in lieu, and it just stack onto their holiday time. And kind of worked out. You could take a few days, have an extra 3-day weekend. So anyway, 17% said yes, you need crunch to get ahead. 45% said it's not fun, but I understand that it's necessary. Okay, sometimes it has to happen. 12% said never crunch, never do overtime. And 26% said only if the boss or owner is working alongside you. That's the result here from the poll. So it's interesting because, often I would crunch alongside our staff to get stuff going. They'd send me home to sleep if I had to do a presentation. So, let's have a look. A TikToker quiet quitting, work is not your life. And in a way it isn't. But it's a big part of your life. And for a young man, it's a big part of your identity. And, that can be a dangerous thing as well if, something goes wrong or you suffer from burnout. Many commenters, and for YouTubers, like, the one guy I was watching, he did, what was his name? What was his channel? Hang on, I'm going to find it here. I just subscribed to him recently because a friend recommended it. Where is it? Here we go. Super Eye Patch Wolf, and he did, what is it? The Bizarre World? Nope. Hang on, where is it? Influencer courses and the garbage of the dark side. So he talks all about just influencers and YouTube and just the challenges of being a YouTuber. Because many people want to be like a full-on professional YouTuber with 1 million subscribers. And the way he's talking about it is, for some of them, it becomes their life. It's their entire, they don't have a profession, they don't have another career. It's just the YouTube is everything. And you are just going along with the algorithm, and it can be up and down, and it's just like any other market. And, people can really get depressed if their views are down, if their videos aren't doing as well. And it can really, really hurt them. And they just go nuts and produce more and more content. So, that's another thing. So you got to be careful of that, guys. Many comments on the TikTok post found the video inspiring, with one writing, then when you do it, quit quietly, you realize nothing at work matters, and suddenly all the stress vanishes. Sometimes, what do these people only have bullshit jobs? I mean, if you've got a deadline on a project and, engineer needs some information or something's been delayed, you just got to do it. I mean, this is the thing. I'm approaching this from someone who's worked in an industry where you've got projects. You've got projects with timeframes and deadlines and deliverables. Right now, we have a school job that's just gone out to tender. It's just been awarded to tender. I think about a $4 million build. And, there were timeframes, there were deliverables. That I did a lot of time because it was a couple of years ago now. It was a Christmas Eve job. And, you just got to do it. You got to do it to meet the client timeframes. That's how it is. But you've got to have the work-life balance. You've got to have the work-life balance. But I guess, I'm not working for someone else anymore. Another said it can really work. I quiet quit 6 months ago, and guess what? Same pay, same recognition, same everything, but less stress. I mean, this is just maturing into your job too. Knowing we had one South Korean guy, he would just work back every night insane hours, like the 996 culture in China. And we're explaining, you're not actually being any more productive. Okay, it's kind of bullshit. Stop doing it. But it was a cultural thing. I think a lot of it is just becoming a bit more mature too. A third said, I did this when I asked for a raise and they told me no, but then started hiring people with higher pay and less responsibilities. Well, then you got to quit. You don't do this bullshit. You got to get another job. You got to get out of there. However, another commenter cautioned, this works best if you can tolerate your job. If you're miserable, get out. Your peace of mind comes first. It appears that quiet quitting movement has also hit home with many Australians, with the TikTok sparking a lively discussion on the Brisbane Reddit thread. Many Aussies explained they are currently using this method or have taken similar approaches in their past to their work. I stepped down from a management position to a lower one with less hours to study, one user said. I know back in my Woolies days, managers would quit and do night fill because it was good money and less stress. Went from putting in 110% into everything. I did the absolute bare minimum required to keep me happy and employed. Another user, a nurse, said they had definitely dialed down their time spent at work after having to take time off from burnout and family issues. Since I've been back, I only work 2 or 3 shifts a week. I do what my job needs me to do, they wrote. My work ethic is still strong, but I'm no longer putting my hand up for every other shift, and I say no to some that are asked of me. I do stay for emergencies after hours, but I won't always be the one to do it. I absolutely don't want extra responsibility anymore. There are others to do that. Another person said they've been doing this for years. While a person said they adopted this method early this year since they found them more enjoyable and felt less stress. Yeah, that's a real takeaway, is to reduce your stress. That's one of the reasons why I've reduced the size of our practice. I had a lot of stress having to just bring in work just to keep the tables, the boys working. There's a lot of stress. Not worth it. You don't make any more money. Others pointed out that this wasn't a new concept, claiming it was nothing more than healthy boundaries and having a work-life balance, something any decent company should ensure exists. Yes, that's it. This isn't revolutionary. It's just a bunch of people reinventing the same shit thinking they're novel, to be quite honest. One person claimed that quiet quitting movements seemed to be more prevalent in Brisbane compared to other major cities. Having worked up and down the East Coast, Brisbane is already quiet quitting compared to Melbourne and Sydney, they wrote. Yeah, I mean, it's a different lifestyle. That's what it is. What I'm noticing is that professional career paths are heading towards more rewarding creative jobs with less stress. In other words, let the ambitious ones push for the stressful positions. While this all sounds very appealing, experts have warned the tactic could backfire, as it's quite passive and could leave you feeling more powerless. If you're getting to the point in your career where you feel like you're putting work above everything else at the expense of other important parts of your life, it can be incredibly demoralizing. LinkedIn career expert Charlotte Davis told metro.co.uk. It's very likely that you'll start to retreat from work, quiet quitting in an attempt to bring some balance. Of course, the best piece of advice is to avoid this happening in the first place. But we all know that's very hard to do, particularly with the pandemic blurring the lines between career and personal lives, which still impacts how we work now. However, while these tactics can reduce overwhelm, you may already be suffering from too much burnout that you may need support to, or actually quit. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting to this point, it could be people are burned out. That's what it could be. The good news is that some employers are recognizing that many employees are burnt out and are taking proactive steps to help. A report from May found more Australian companies are turning to a 4-day work week with no pay cuts as burnout rises among staff, as well as the fallout from brutal competition to attract employees, with the unemployment rate hitting its lowest level in 48 years. From August, many companies will take part in the reduced work week as part of an initiative from not-for-profit advocacy group 4-day week global. I mean, it's kind of bullshit. There's so many public holidays. It feels like every week is a 4-day work week when you're the boss. Anyway, meanwhile, towards the end of 2021, research found 4.7 million Aussies were willing to switch jobs for less pay but better employment experience, according to Australian workplace technology company Live Tiles. The past 12 months saw nearly half of Australian employees feeling stressed, exhausted or fed up, with a third of those surveyed revealing their job has become more difficult. So, well, let's have a talk about this one. I understand where these people are coming from, honestly. I think it is nothing new. It's just a new coat of paint on the same old idea of having boundaries. And I think a lot of that comes with just experience and maturity. Probably if you're more comfortable in your role. But, yeah, that's really what it is. I mean, sure, there's sometimes when you need to push above and beyond. You can't do it all the time. You will burn out and you'll get sick. And you may not even realize it. That can be really bad. So, yeah, I mean, it's good to see. I see this as people maturing into their role. I don't see it as, quitting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you've got a bullshit job where you're not doing anything makes no difference, get a better career. Honestly. You tell me, guys. You tell me. Remember, I'm looking at this from an architect who works on projects. So it's kind of a different perspective. Let me know if you work in a meaningless government job. Maybe that's it. I mean, but a civil servant wouldn't be putting 110% in. They'd already be quit by default. They wouldn't let you in if you work too hard, would they? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Take care. If you're a fan and want to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can financially support the channel through YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. Buy our pocket squares or call us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. And, make sure you don't work insane amounts. You need to have some balance. Maybe you want to become a contractor and work for yourself. I mean, that's a whole other world of stress. Yeah. Take care. I'll see you next time.